Hi, I'm Campbell from Metal Form Tow and Farm. Today I'm going to show you how to change the brushes on your Tow and Collect Mini 700. The tools that you'll require is a 10mm socket and also a ruler. Okay, so there's two methods that you can use to change the brushes on your Mini 700. The first one involves an assistant who is going to lift the drawbar while you change the brushes, or alternatively, if you have a crane or secure lifting device available, then you can hook the crane onto the drawbar and use the crane to hold the machine safely while you complete the job. So in either case, the first step is to open the catcher to the full open position and lock it. Then your assistant can lift the machine and you can quite easily access the brushes from underneath. Alternatively, if you're going to use the crane, simply hook the crane onto the drawbar at the front, making sure you secure it properly and lift the machine. So the next job to do is to measure the brushes to ensure that they require replacing. So to measure the brush, measure from the edge of the brush clamp out to the end of the brush. When the machine is new, this measurement is 115mm or an imperial 4.5 inches. Once the brushes are worn past around 90mm, the performance of the machine will degrade. In the imperial measurement, this is 3.5 inches. So basically you've got 1 inch or 25mm of wear before the brushes require replacing. Okay, so the next step is to actually loosen the clamp plate. The brushes are held clamped in position by this plate here, which clamps down onto the brush. To remove this, there's 6 nylock nuts that you need to remove. So using your 10mm socket, simply undo the nuts. You don't need to remove the nuts all the way off, just remove them until the end of the nylock nut is roughly flush with the end of the stud. This will be loose enough to remove the brush. Okay, you can now slip the brush out, and basically that's how to remove one of the brushes. All the brushes are the same. There are 4 brushes on the brush spindle in total, so just keep rotating to access the brushes, and that's it. To replace the brush, you'll notice that the brush has a steel spine. This steel spine clamps the nylon bristles, and so it's important that you put the steel spine end into the brush clamp. Don't put it this way, as it will not clamp and it will cause a lot of damage to any surface you run over. Okay, so essentially just lift the brush clamp up and slip the brush under the clamp. There's a couple of things to take special note of here. The clamp plate is slotted slightly, and so you can move it from side to side. The purpose of this is so that you can centralise the brush clamp in the collector body. If you have it adjusted all one way, the brush clamp may hit into the nut on the end of the collector body. So please adjust it so the gap between the end of the clamp plate and the nut is equal on both sides. Likewise with the brush, at this stage you can easily move it from side to side. Please centralise the brush so that the gap is even on both sides. Again, if it's hard one way, then the brush will hit the nuts on the side of the collector and will not rotate correctly. Once you're happy that you've centralised it, just hold the clamp plate with one hand, and it's important at this stage to push the brushes firmly up so that the spine is firmly pushed up against the studs. You now take your 10mm ratchet and do one end up first. It's important to do one end up first while holding the brush firmly in position with the other hand. Now go to the other end, and again making sure that the brush is firmly clamped up. Tighten the other end. Keep tightening until the nut is nice and firm. Now go to one of the centre nuts, again pushing up, and tighten this down until it's nice and firm. You can now do the 3 remaining nuts up until they're all nice and firm. Okay, so once you've completed this step on replacing one of the brushes, the replacement of the other 4 brushes is exactly the same procedure. Just keep rotating and repeating the same procedure. Okay, so now we can lower the tie and collect back down. Well, that completes changing the brushes on your Tie and Collect Mini 700. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.